The garbage disposal unit on mining station Theta 7 hummed with its usual mechanical indifference as Marcus Chen made his rounds through the lower maintenance tunnels. As the station's waste management supervisor, he had seen every kind of refuse the galaxy could produce: broken machinery, expired rations, discarded alien artifacts that nobody wanted to claim. But nothing had prepared him for what he found that day, half buried beneath a pile of twisted metal scraps. It was small, no bigger than his hand, with pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer despite being covered in grime. At first glance, Marcus thought it might be some kind of exotic doll or perhaps a piece of alien art. Then he saw the barely perceptible rise and fall of its chest. "Jesus," Marcus whispered, immediately dropping to his knees beside the tiny figure. The creature appeared to be female, though her species was unlike any he had encountered in his 15 years working the Outer Rim stations. She had 4 delicate arms, each ending in fingers so thin they looked like they might break at the slightest touch. Her legs, he noticed with growing alarm, lay at unnatural angles beneath her small frame. Dark veins were visible through her, translucent skin, and her breathing was shallow, labored. Marcus had seen enough injured beings to recognize the signs of someone who had been left to die. Carefully, he scooped the tiny alien into his hands, feeling how light she was, like holding a bird with hollow bones. Her skin was warm, which he took as a good sign, but she remained unconscious as he carried her back to his quarters in the residential section of the station. His apartment was small but clean, with a workbench that he quickly cleared to make space for his unexpected patient. Marcus had some basic medical training, mandatory for all station personnel, but this was far beyond anything in his experience. Still, he couldn't just do nothing. He started with the basics: a warm, damp cloth to clean away the grime, a makeshift bed from soft fabric scraps, and a heat lamp positioned at a safe distance to keep her warm. As he worked, Marcus found himself talking to the unconscious alien, the way his grandmother used to talk to her plants. "Easy there, little one," he murmured as he gently cleaned her face. "You're safe now. Nobody's throwing you away on my watch." It was 3 days before she opened her eyes. Marcus was reading technical manuals at his workbench when he heard the softest whisper of sound, like wind through leaves. He looked up to find 4 large violet eyes staring at him with a mixture of fear and confusion. "Hey there," Marcus said softly, setting down his data pad and moving slowly toward the makeshift bed. "You're safe. My name is Marcus. Can you understand me?" The alien's mouth moved, producing sounds like musical chimes. When Marcus looked confused, she tried again, this time in heavily accented Standard Galactic. Where? "You're in my quarters on mining station Theta 7, Marcus explained, keeping his voice gentle. "I found you in the waste disposal area. Someone had thrown you away." The alien's eyes filled with what Marcus could only assume were tears, though they glowed faintly purple in the dim light. "They said I was broken, no use to anyone." Marcus felt a surge of anger at whoever had discarded this clearly intelligent being like garbage. "What's your name?" he asked. "Liana," she whispered. I was a data analyst for the Zephyrian Trade Collective, until the accident." Over the following days, Liana's story emerged in fragments. She had been injured in a shuttle crash that had paralyzed her lower limbs and severely damaged her ability to interface with the bio-neural networks that her species used for complex calculations. Unable to perform her job and considered a burden by her employers, she had been quietly disposed of during a routine stop at the mining station. "Your people just threw you away because you became disabled?" Marcus asked one evening, his voice tight with controlled fury. Liana nodded sadly. "Zephyrians value only productivity. Those who cannot contribute are recycled." "That's monstrous," Marcus said flatly. What happened next would become legendary in certain circles of the galaxy, though Marcus never thought of it that way. He simply did what felt right. First, he modified his workbench into a proper mobility platform for Liana. complete with biomonitors and adaptive interfaces. Then he began spending his off hours researching Zephyrian physiology, determined to find ways to help her regain some independence. The breakthrough came when Marcus realized that while Liana couldn't interface with bio-neural networks anymore, her analytical mind was still sharp. He began bringing her the station's most complex logistical problems, resource allocation puzzles that the station's AI struggled with. Liana solved them with ease, her 4 hands dancing across the adapted interfaces Marcus had built for her. Word spread quickly through the station. Soon other supervisors were coming to Marcus's quarters, seeking Liana's expertise with their most challenging problems. Within a month, she was officially hired as a consultant, earning more credits than she ever had with the trade collective. But Marcus's most important contribution wasn't professional, it was personal. "I don't understand," Liana said one evening as Marcus helped adjust her platform's settings. "Why did you save me? I'm not even the same species as you. I was literally garbage when you found me." Marcus paused in his adjustments, considering his words carefully. "Where I come from, we have a saying. One person's trash is another person's treasure. But that's not really it, is it? You were never trash, Liana. You were a person who'd been hurt and abandoned. And where I come from, we don't leave people behind just because they're different or damaged or can't do what they used to do." Liana's eyes glowed brighter. "Is this what humans call hope?" Marcus smiled, gently patting one of her tiny hands. "Hope, compassion, basic decency. Call it whatever you want. The important thing is that you're not broken, and you never were. You're just different now. And different doesn't mean worthless." Years later, when Liana had become one of the most sought-after problem solvers in the Outer Rim, she would tell anyone who asked about the day her life truly began. It wasn't the day she was born, or the day she first learned to interface with the bio-neural networks. It was the day a human, named Marcus Chen, looked at what others saw as garbage and decided to see a person worth saving instead. And in the broader galaxy, as word of Marcus's action spread, it sparked something unprecedented. The first galactic legislation protecting disabled sentience from abandonment. They called it the Chen-Liana Act, though Marcus insisted the name should be reversed. After all, as he often said, Liana had saved him just as much as he had saved her. She had reminded him why humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their adaptability. It was their stubborn refusal to give up on anyone, no matter how small or broken the galaxy might consider them to be.